How do I improve egg quality? That is one of the biggest questions that I get asked, and that is my expertise. Okay, so when we are starting to think about egg quality, the biggest misconception is that you can just like fix your egg quality, but it's fluid. Okay, it's going to change, it's going to ebb, and it's going to flow based on what is going on in your life at that time. Okay, so a lot of different things are going to impact your egg quality. Okay, so what we want to be thinking about is preparing your body before you're trying to get pregnant. And that's another mistake that I see, is that people are like, okay, I'm off birth control, boom, ready to get pregnant. And guess who else made that mistake? Me. Okay, so now this is why I educate on what in the world you can do to improve your egg quality. Okay, so I want to also set the expectation that it is not about perfection. It is about making little changes over time that improve your egg quality and sperm quality. If you are married or in a relationship, there's going to be a lot of overlap on what goes in your life most of the time. So it's not about being perfect. It's about making little changes that are going to gradually make big impacts in regards to egg and sperm quality. And I've seen this over and over and over again as we start getting your labs a little bit more like in an uptick in the right direction, as you start making some changes, as you cut some things out that are toxic in your life, whether that is like things that are in your home or people that are toxic. All of these things are going to help you get pregnant faster, have better outcomes with IVF, avoid IVF, get better outcomes with egg freezing, all of those things. Okay, so egg quality is a lot that's going on with it. So some things that you want to be thinking about are you're improving chromosome, right? So what the egg is going to do, it's going to pass your portion of the DNA off to embryo. And so we want to make sure that we are giving your body what it needs to go through that replication and to be able to kind of support the mitochondria, going back to your old school, chemistry, biology, etc. These cells have mitochondria, and as our cells are getting older, because your eggs are the oldest cells in your body, or some of the oldest cells in your body, okay, so they need a little extra oomph when it comes to getting pregnant. So we need that, and we also need to support the egg so that it has the ability to be fertilized, and then for that embryo to implant. So we're also working on kind of like overall health, uterine health, reducing inflammation, so that we are creating an environment that is more conducive to supporting implantation and fertility, or and baby being able to kind of grow and develop. So your egg quality is not just about how old that egg is, it is about the environment that the egg is developing within. Okay, so that's important. So some things that are like non-negotiable is that we need consistent hormone signaling. And there are a lot of things that can negatively impact that. Some of the top ones that I see are like huge exposure, but also supplements. Sometimes people are on such contradictory supplements that are advertised for hormone balance or hormone health, but really they're not doing that for you. And sometimes what people are doing is they're taking one thing that, elevates levels, and they're taking another thing that minimizes levels. And it's like, what are we looking for here? Are you going higher or lower? What do you want to do? Because you're giving your body too many signals. Okay. So we want to make sure that hormone signals are working properly. The next thing that we want to make sure is that you are having proper insulin sensitivity. Okay, so I see insulin resistance issues, meaning that you're more prone to kind of have this like spiking of your blood glucoses all of the time. Now that is especially common in people with PCOS. Some people that are blown away when they find out that they are starting to be in that pre-diabetic category, and that they're showing really significant signs of insulin resistance, and that's really negatively impacting egg quality, because your body wants more steady and less spikes of up and down and bottoming out. So we need to make sure that that's well controlled. Another big thing is inflammation. If your body is putting out all these fires everywhere else because we have inflammation related to whatever that may be, it's going to pull resources away from where you need it. So if we need to dump some nutrition on that egg quality, but you've got all these other rip-roaring health conditions that are spiraling out of control, whether you know it or not, that is going to pull from your egg quality. So we want to make sure that all the other issues and inflammation problems are like being down to a minimum, so that your body can support what it needs for proper egg quality. Okay, so some other like practical tips: sleep. Okay, sleep is just like a crux. It is so important for so many people, for males and females, and we need consistent sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours. Okay. Consistent bedtime is an easy way to do that. So if you are somebody who has a pretty steady wake up time, we need to be kind of aiming to get in the bed at the same time every night. Make sure that you're in a cool and a dark room. Make sure that your phone is off or on airplane mode or out of the bedroom, whatever we need to do to kind of remove distractions and allow for sleep. Okay. The other things to think about are the blood glucose balance. So you want to avoid spikes. I've started wearing a continuous glucose monitor, and I've really found that it has been game changing in how I think about eating and what I now put together with foods. So I think that I used to many years ago think like, oh, if I'm going to eat ice cream, then like I don't need to add anything else to that, right? But now I know that, and I love a chunky ice cream. Now I know that if I add nuts to my ice cream, like my blood glucose does not spike, or if it does, it's not nearly as long. It may spike a little bit, but it doesn't. So it really has made a big impact about how I make choices, what I put together, how I think about combining my breakfast, and what I prioritize. So if you've ever been curious, if you've ever been concerned about insulin resistance or pre-diabetic, or you have that in your family, then monitoring this can be a big help. Or if you're just a nerd and you like health data, like myself, also can be helpful. So some things that you can do for that, and again, everybody is different. So the way that the order that you eat your food, so you want to make sure that we're having like a fiber and a fat, especially towards the beginning, because that's going to slow your digestion down. So if we're having a carb with that, you want to make sure that that is being ingested with or after fiber and fat and protein, okay? Or all together, that's fine too. Make sure that we have a good balanced meal. Make sure that you have with a carb your fiber, your fat, your protein. I don't, get real specific with the like macros and those types of things, but I do want people to have a good amount of fiber to make sure that we're flushing out some of those extra hormones and toxins that we don't need and that can build up in the system if we're not getting enough fiber. I do not like extreme dieting. I do not like people, especially in the fertility space. Usually intermittent fasting is not going to be beneficial because your body's going like, why am I starving for this period of time? For some people, I think it can be helpful, but for most people, I'm not a big advocate in the fertility space for intermittent fasting. Okay, some other kind of like top ways to improve egg quality is cutting down on any of the like ultra processed or super processed foods. We want to minimize how many things that you're eating out of like a package or that can last on a shelf for long periods of time. I'm not talking about like canned beans and canned vegetables. I'm talking about the things that have like a bunch of additives and like not true and whole foods. So we want to minimize those. We want to minimize chronic stress. There are so many of my clients that I can just see it on their face. I can see how worn out they are from infertility, in relationships, in life, in work, and all the other things that kind of come along with that. And that is just horrible for our egg quality, okay? Environmental toxins, that's like a whole other conversation. So yeah, thinking about moving your body, thinking about getting good sleep, thinking about all the things that, improve overall health and are talked about like in the longevity space. And all of that is usually going to also benefit egg quality, okay? Let's see. So yeah, it's kind of different for each person. It depends on what's going on. It depends on your labs. It depends on your health history. Like what kind of history do we have? Do we have endometriosis? Do we have PCOS? Do we have thyroid issues? Do we have autoimmune issues? Like those are some of the top things that I see. And all this is kind of pertinent to sperm quality as well, but so the changes that you're making to improve egg quality will usually also improve sperm quality. Okay, so these are kind of some of the top takeaways, but if you are really wanting to like dive into this and know everything that you can possibly do to improve egg quality, of course, check out my course, Get Pregnant Faster, and that is going to break down in each pillar what you can do on your own to start working towards getting that egg quality pitch perfect. Okay, all right, drop any questions below. Hope that was helpful.